everyone, and welcome back to Tutorials of Tone. My name is Alex. Thank you so much for watching this video. We're covering today the Mr. Big smash hit from 1991. The song went to #1 on the pop charts. This is To Be With You. As you heard in the intro, we are using a piezo system on a JP15 to simulate that acoustic sound, but if you are not operating a piezo-laden guitar, we've got options for you, and you can recreate their live tones as well with this preset. Let's dive right in. First up, we have our input block. We are running into input 2, which is taking just our piezo signal, and we are running an XY TRS to dual mono cable out the stereo jack on the JP15 Music Man. As you can see here, I have the threshold of the gate turned completely off. This is where I like having it for the JP15. Just a nice stock setting thing. No gate on the acoustic at all. And note that our output level is at -13.5 dB. That's where I like having it when I run a compressor. After that, to just kind of tame the acoustic sound. If not, if there is no compressor in the chain, I like running this at -16.5 dB. This is a really hot output on this piezo system, so keeping things at unity gain the best I can, that's where I often end up. We're running that into a Studio FF compressor. This looks familiar to anyone familiar with the channel. I use this pretty much constantly for all of the cleans, and I just placed it here. It works great. So we have mostly stock settings. The release time is down to 63.25 milliseconds. No auto makeup gain, but 6.5 dB of level. And again, we have the piezo sound. A really solid acoustic tone. We're running that into a medium plate reverb running in series, so we can combine inputs 1 and 2 more easily into our reverb. We're running this almost entirely at stock settings. We have the mix at 15%, our level at 0 dB. Then we also have the option for a filter block at the end for the solo. Whether you're playing acoustic or the electric tones, this is operated by a foot switch. If you would prefer to use a foot controller and just have that, you can absolutely set one up using control switches and the lead boost tactic described on this channel. Moving on, if you don't have a JP15 or anything with a piezo system, we've got you covered here. This is a chorus clean tone, where you could absolutely run the whole song on this. A nice, simple chorus clean. So first up, we have our input block. -47.5 dB on the threshold of our gate. It's where I have it for my Morse Music Man guitars. It works well for this as well. We run that into a Studio FF compressor, same settings as before. Stock on almost every parameter, 63.25 milliseconds of release time instead of 100. No auto makeup gain, but 6.5 dB level boost, just to make up for that compressed signal. For our clean tone, we are using a Band Commander amp. Very neutral settings across the board. We've got a cut and bright switch engaged. Nothing to speak of for input EQ or output EQ on the clean amp. For our cabs, we are always running into a 1960A and a 60B pair of Marshall cabs. This is what I use for the vintage Marshall thing. We've got 60 Hz low cut on this preset with an 8500 Hz on the high cut. We're running into a warm stereo chorus, and that is running in parallel. Very close to the Eric Johnson settings here, except we're not running through, we are running parallel. The depth is turned down to 34.6%. Our rate is down to just under half a hertz. Then we have our level at -3 dB. This really helps bring things down because if you have your level at 0, you're actually increasing the sound when running things in parallel. We are also running a digital stereo delay with an 8th note tied to our BPM, which is 83. You can bring that in for our lead boost with an expression pedal tied to the input gain, and our max level is at -12.5 dB. That sounds like this. A nice little thing. Feel free to bypass that at your convenience. Again, this expression pedal is also tied to a 3 dB boost to help bring you out front in the mix if you happen to be playing with a drummer. If not, you could bypass this because it's probably just you or just you and a bass player. Not a whole lot to compete with. Mr. Big would often play this live, not acoustic, with these big electric tones and build the dynamics. So we have other options. We have Paul Gilbert using a Brit JM45, giving it just a slight overdriven tone. A nice, just mid-level, low-gain electric sound. Again, we are running into a pair of 1960A and B cabs for the Marshall thing. Same digital stereo delay, same reverb and filter. If you need just a little bit of a kick, whether for the solo or for a dynamic boost, maybe it's a full band scenario, you're playing this a little bit harder than the record, you have the OD Plus, which is a 1959 Super Lead, the Plexi sound. Very neutral settings here, except we have the treble turned up and our bright switch engaged. Again, as with all of the amps, nothing to speak of for low cut or high cut. Same cabs, delay, reverb, and 3 dB boost. So we have this in the middle position again. So we have all of these wonderful options, whether you're playing a piezo laden guitar like a JP15, whether you're playing a Les Paul, a Strat, Super Strat, doesn't matter. We've got tonal options ready for you so you can play this smash hit by this wonderful band, and you get to play a Paul Gilbert tune on your next gig. Pretty cool. Well, that about does it for this tutorial of tone. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, there are more videos throughout the channel, whether they're tutorials of tone, Fractal 101, gear reviews, playthroughs, etc. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you all next time.